Absurd Person Singular by Sir Alan Ayckbourn offers a comedic yet piercing glimpse into the lives of three couples against the backdrop of a Christmas Eve gathering. Act 1 unfolds in the suburban abode of Sydney and Jane Hopcroft, where frantic preparations for the soiree reveal underlying tensions. Sydney, eager to impress the affluent Ronald Brewster Wright, orchestrates the festivities with a fervor bordering on desperation. Meanwhile, Jane toils away in the kitchen, her efforts a stark reflection of her relegated role within the marriage. When Jane inadvertently stains Ronald's trousers, it sets off a chain of events that expose the dissonance within the social dynamics. As the evening progresses, the arrival of other guests further unravels the facade of suburban bliss. The unseen presence of Dick and Lottie Potter, coupled with the tumultuous relationship of Jeffrey and Eva Jackson, adds layers of absurdity to the proceedings. Eva's instability and Jeffrey's infidelity serve as stark reminders of the fragility of relationships in this milieu. Amidst the chaos, Jane's brief moment of independence embodied by her donning of Sydney's raincoat culminates in her inadvertent exclusion from her own home. Her subsequent encounter with Ronald underscores the theme of societal stratification, as Sydney fabricates a narrative to maintain appearances. As the evening winds down and the guests depart, Sydney remains entrenched in his pursuit of social advancement, while Jane grapples with the disillusionment of her marriage. Their exchange epitomizes the disparity between aspiration and reality, as Sydney's aspirations clash with Jane's resigned acceptance of their circumstances. In Act 2, the spotlight shifts to the tumultuous abode of Jeffrey and Eva Jackson. A year later, Jeffrey's frustration with Eva's worsening condition manifests in heated exchanges, overshadowing his own dissatisfaction with work on the shopping complex. The arrival of Sydney and Jane Hopcroft introduces a stark contrast in fortunes, exacerbating Jeffrey's resentment. Amidst the gathering, Eva's mental anguish escalates dramatically as she attempts suicide, plunging the party into chaos. While guests engage in futile attempts to remedy household issues, Eva's silent struggles play out in stark juxtaposition. As the evening unfolds, Eva's desperate actions underscore the dark undercurrents of despair within the social facade. Meanwhile, the guests, including Ronald and Marion, grapple with their own discomfort, their efforts to mend superficialities starkly contrasted against Eva's silent battle for survival. Jeffrey's return with a doctor heralds a fragile moment of unity, as the guests and Eva unite in a surreal rendition of the 12 Days of Christmas, a poignant reflection of the absurdity of their predicament. Act 3 transitions to Ronald and Marion's deteriorating Victorian home. A year later, Marion's descent into alcoholism casts a pall over the evening, as financial woes loom large. The arrival of the Hopcrofts brings a jarring intrusion, their obliviousness to their host's discomfort, emblematic of the strained relationships that define the evening. Ronald's desperate attempt to maintain control is thwarted by the Hopcrofts' persistence, culminating in a futile game of musical dancing. The absurdity of their situation is laid bare as guests dance to Sydney's tune, their dependence on him and Marion rendering them powerless. In this final act, Ayckbourn masterfully weaves a tapestry of dysfunction and despair, illuminating the fragility of social constructs and the absurdity of human interaction amidst the backdrop of societal decay.